frozen sauteed vegetables, label them and put the date, you know, whatever. Because, you know, you get all those mystery things in the fridge.
Yeah,
and then,
where you're looking at it like, what
the heck was that? And it's going to go in the garbage.
Exactly.
So make sure you have a cool list on the door, too. Okay?
I like that a lot.
So now let's move on to
And I also like, I think it's a good tip that if you're freezing liquids, keep the room in your freezer. I freeze the batches in freezer bags.
That's right.
And store them flat so that you get the most room out of your freezer.
This is true. Another thing about the freezer, keep it well stocked. An empty freezer works too hard and it's not as cold as it should be. So keep it crowded but well organized. Okay, so on to the fridge. Okay, so we have fruits and we have vegetables. And a lot of fruits give off ethylene gas, which helps them to ripen, but it also is a real downer for the vegetables. It will just make them spoil.
Right.
So that's where you keep the fruits in one side, the vegetables in another.
another.
But new product we found out. This is called, and in case you're wondering where to put it, it looks like a little blue apple. It's an ethylene sucker outer.
I've seen these.
Put it,
I've seen these in lemons and limes too. These little plastic fruits in your produce department. These are awesome.
Yeah, they suck out the ethylene gas. So put that in the fruit drawer and keep the vegetables separate. So
they're very cool.
And by the way, all these should be refrigerated, even apples. I mean, they won't kill you. They just degenerate. They just aren't so good after a while. Yes.
Or in the country, we call that the back porch.
Okay.
The extra refrigerator.
Right, there you go. Okay, so moving on.
This one I know, and every time I tell people, they are like, wow.
Right. The best way to keep the soft herbs, these aren't the woody herbs, like basil, cilantro, parsley, dill, is to treat them like flowers.
Exactly.
So you put them in a pitcher or in a glass, and then just put plastic over, and they'll keep for weeks.
This makes like a little greenhouse for the basil.
Yes, but
asparagus too.
Okay, so asparagus, and I learned this a long time ago, many years ago. I worked on the Victory Garden cookbook, and asparagus, I'm just going to cut the bottom off and do the same thing. It keeps growing in your fridge.
I know, it's great. My mom taught me that when I was a little kid. I'm like, oh my God, you're so smart.
Yeah, there we go. And then just put that over the top.
And then put a little baggie over the top.
Now on to lettuce. Now, rumor has it that when you buy your groceries, you come home and you get organized and you wash your lettuce and you spin it dry and you put it in a bag with paper towels.
I do. I'm obsessive compulsive about putting everything away clean and ready to use.
Right, but some people like me come home and I'm like, wow, I just did the grocery shopping. I'm done. I don't want to do that. I don't have time to do that. So if I don't do this, which is a very good idea, but make sure, again, moisture and air
get
are
it
the
dry, and then
I
keep the paper towel in there so it won't get any moisture just from being in the fridge.
Right, it will absorb any excess moisture. But if you're not, just put it in the bag in which it came and get it right into the fridge and then wash it right before you use it.
Cool.
Nothing in between. And by the way, lettuce, something we all need to know, is the #1 cause of foodborne illness.
Yes.
So don't mess around with it.
I don't think people understand that.
So wash it. If it says triple wash it again. If there's an expiration date, throw it out before then, by that expiration date. And if you're getting close to the expiration date, what the heck? Saute the greens.
Of course,
just
use
saute them.
Just eat them.
Yeah, I mean,
roast them up with a little lemon juice on top. They're delicious.
Or do that and then freeze them. Anything that's getting to the expiration date, just cook it any which way and get it into the freezer.
So you're not throwing the money away.
On to berries, and this is true for any fruit. Now here we have right here, if I can get it open, there we go. We bought some strawberries and we say, uh-oh, I'm not going to eat that. So what people will do is just say to themselves, I'm not going to eat that. I'll just throw it out later. No, get it out of there. One bad strawberry, one bad apple will spoil the
whole bunch.
So this
Didn't you ever hear the song, people?
Really? So make sure you clean that out. And then when you go to store it, you want to just store them loose, not real tight, just a little bit of air. This is one where it's sort of a mix between no air and just a little bit of air because you don't want them to be wet. So
I always give them a little bit of air, and I don't rinse them until the second you use them.
No, this is one you don't. Berries are very, very, very perishable, and especially raspberries.
They're very delicate.
Okay, something that people don't know about, if you have a whole grain product, because it's got the seed and the germ in it, like a whole wheat flour or wheat germ or anything like that, all those nut oils as well, you really want to get them into the fridge. So what you do is you just put them into a container, and they sell these at all sorts of stores. Hey, you probably have a whole line of these.
Yeah.
Do you?
Well,
You're working on it.
I have a fair amount of
pretty soon you're going to have us all equipped. You're going to have us so equipped. At any rate, you can just keep this in the fridge, or you can actually keep it in the freezer too.
I was just going to say, I keep mine in the freezer.
Yeah, but you know, again, it's just you and your husband, so you have room in that freezer.
Exactly.
You should be filling up your freezer.
At least the refrigerator, though, right?
Yes, exactly. At least the refrigerator, if not the freezer, and that way it will last longer.